Hello, everybody. Welcome to Galactica Musings. This is Elizabeth, and I I have been away for 2 weeks from this channel, but only because I haven't had really much. Well, there's a lot going on, to be honest, up there. But for some reason, I don't know if it's me, but my brain seems to be working in the Spanish mode, even though I'm living in New Zealand. Should be working in English mode. But anyway, sometimes I just feel like I cannot get the conversation going, and I'm thinking there's no point in doing a live if I'm going to bore you to death. So, but now I feel like I can get this going. So now that I can do some exercises with my um, I feel like I need some background music. I don't know. It's weird because I used to do lives with background music, and I can with this. Um, and I think I might do it next time. It might not feel so like I'm all alone here. Anyway, the latest from Mary has me. Um, you just it has me with a lot of curiosity and um, just when I know, just when I think I know what's going on in orbit, she comes out with a new video and just everything is thrown out the window. Um, okay, well, let's talk about the latest from Mary. She's going to get a new assistant. That's going to be wonderful. Um, her name is Anna, and she did confirm that she's not Anna, the one that was extracted. We know that there was someone who was extracted, I think, 2 years ago after Anika passed. And apparently she's the same soul, Anika's soul. So, but it seems that Anna had had memories of being Anika. Isn't it interesting? So while she was living her life here as a human on Earth, she had memories of being Anika, while Anika was talking to us from orbit. She had memories of that Anika. So she was. So that's when they try to explain to us that there is no future and no past, and it's all happening at the same time. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. So it's nice to know that Anna, not the new Anna, Anika Anna, it's still in orbit, and she's working there in the kitchen and as well um, as a doctor, apparently. So that's kind of wonderful. Maybe in the future, she will want to talk to us and tell us about her experience. I think it would be phenomenal to see what it's like to be extracted. What are the changes she's going through? Um, because she was extracted and she wasn't an immersion. She came here through source. So that would be different to if you were an immersion and were extracted, because then you would have two bodies out there. So I wonder what it's like for Anna at the moment in orbit. So it would be nice to talk to her. So if she does see this video, it would be great to have your experiences on this. I think it would be just phenomenal. It truly is. But then again, if she's up there, she knows what it's like to be here, to be human. I think she would have spoken to us already if she saw that it would help us in some way. Um, but obviously, from up there, from her perspective at the moment, maybe she doesn't see the use of it. She doesn't, doesn't see what it could help us, how it could help us. Because she's obviously still interested in being here, or else she would have gone back to Temer, would have gone to Temer or somewhere else. Um, so she's obviously still interested on this planet and what's going on. Uh, but yeah, well, from our point of view, I think it would be terribly exciting to know her experience and just to have a conversation with her. I would love to have a conversation with her, just to get a perspective. Uh, my goodness, that would be fantastic. Okay, so the new person, Anna, the other Anna, I don't have her full name. It's a tricky name. I couldn't get it. Some people wrote it on Telegram, but I'm not very good with names. I'm sorry. So the new assistant, she doesn't speak English or Spanish at the moment, so she's going to learn that, and she's very new. So I hope she's going to be happy here. We welcome her to let her know that we're not savages, like the Federation says. We are nice people. We are very emotional. uh, but I'm sure they tell her how much we are can go a little crazy down here. So, talking to us for them, it's probably a little bit risky, because they might think they're talking to crazy people. Sometimes I think they probably see us are a bit, either very slow. This is how I think they see us. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking they probably see us as a bit slow, to think and to reason because they're always doing telepathic communication, and that's much quicker, faster. And so they see us a bit slow, and I think they see us as um, people who are very going a little crazy. Maybe I should just speak for myself, but I admit I have gone insane. Who hasn't? So it might be risky for her. I don't know. Maybe that's how they see us. Yeah. Okay. So one more thing I'm gonna stop doing is looking down because I somewhat I played my previous lives here, and this doesn't happen when I'm speaking on the Spanish channel. It happens here. I don't know why I changed so much from one language to another. And see, this is what I'm doing all the time, looking down. When I speak here on the um, on the English channel, I look down. But with the Spanish community, I look at the screen and I look at myself because I see myself here, or I look at the camera right at you. So I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm nervous when I speak in English on the English channel. It's weird. You know what I think it is? I have to be honest with you. The first that's one of the things that I am always that's one of the things I say in my Spanish community channel is that I always try to be as honest as possible for the simple reason that you can relate more to someone who is being honest. As I'm not gonna you know tell you my whole personal story or personal things. I'm not gonna make you feel uncomfortable. I promise. But I will be honest in saying some things, and I think it makes you relatable. And when you hear someone being honest on how they feel for reasons that for you make no sense, but you can tell that the other person is being genuine. And well, I try to do that. And see, I keep looking down. Um, I think it's because the English community. I don't know why, but I feel a bit nervous because the English community. It's what I was having a conversation with someone, and I said they have more like knowledge in regards to what's happening outside and about all these ET UFO information for the simple reason that it is the United States that is the military um, that has all this information in regards to extraterrestrials and UFOs, and they are the ones that are um, doing the work and doing the underground work. And so a lot of that information, or some of that information, gets gets surfaces, and it gets to be um, delivered to us in some way, shape, form. Now, a lot of it has it's a lot of it, for example, in Gaia TV. A lot of it, I think it's not true. I think it is very manipulated, and they just tell you what they want you to know because they want to guide your perception in a certain way in regards to this type of information. But a lot of it there, I think, is genuine information. So at the end, you have to discern what you believe and what you do not believe. So because that's in English, anyone who speaks English and listen to this and follows it, obviously is going to have more information. So they're going to be better informed. They're going to know more about what's going on in Saturn. They're going to know uh, what the races are, what the governments are doing. Apparently, they're doing how the Federation is behaving, what's going on in Antarctica. So they have a lot more information. So they are, I think, the English community, no matter where you are, you don't have to be in the United States, but people who speak English and who follow this type of information are more aware, and um, they have a lot of information. So I feel like I'm lagging behind in that regard. So I guess that's why I keep looking down, because I'm like, trying to, when you're like a child, you kind of look down because you feel you don't know as much in regards to that. But I think that's the reason the English community, it's more informed. It's because all this information, it comes out in English first. And it comes out in English, and it takes like years for it to be translated into other languages. So the people that don't speak English find out about this years later. So they're always lagging behind. And that's where I am lagging behind, because when I started to learn about all this UFO information, extraterrestrial, etc., even though I speak English since I was 11 years old, I never took notice. I never wanted to know more. I was like completely in a different orbit. And only recently, what, 3, 4 years ago, I discovered this disclosure, the ET disclosure. So this is new. You know, um, I'm 49, and I started learning about this when I was what, 47, 46, 3 or 4 years ago. So it is recent. Some people have been getting this information for 20 years now. So they are much more knowledgeable, and they've been able to, they have time to ponder this, and they are comfortable talking about it, and they are comfortable trying to figure things out and trying to connect the dots and so on. But if you're not in that space, then you are like very new on this. So I think that's the reason of why it's a bit difficult for me to get this community, English community, going, because I feel I'm lagging behind, and I'm not sure if what I can offer the English community, it's going to be for them anything that they'll be they're not going to fall asleep while I'm talking here because they'll say, "Yeah, I know all that." So, move on. But that's as fast as I can go. And so, going back to Mary's video, so I was talking to someone. Let me just say hello because he's probably here. Yes, here you are. Let me just say hello. Just a moment. Good afternoon, Lita. How are you? Welcome. Kian, hi. Been talking to you. I was talking to you on Telegram, and I want to talk a little bit about what you shared with me. Um, you don't mind, do you? Oops. Um, John Wiley, hi. How are you? Thank you for being here. Let me just get a glass, some water. Someone is mowing the lawn. My neighbor. I hope you cannot hear it. Okay, so Mary described something that happened in orbit, and I thought that was risky. And it was weird. I found it odd. I found that something was off. I don't know, something just off. And I was just thinking about it. And suddenly someone messaged me on Telegram. And, that person started talking about it. And I thought, oh, this is wonderful. So we started having, oh, okay. Thank you, Kian. Thank you for that. And just as I was actually thinking about this, someone messaged me and it was Kian. And because in regards to which was it that vigilant eagle uh, that came back from escorting Toleka back to Tamar. And apparently the captain, what's his name? Nyson? Nyson? He forgot to contact the, what do they call it? Traffic control tower that they were arriving. And obviously, the Federation went to see what's happening, not in a very nice way. I was thinking, okay, I understand that he was in a hurry, but not to mention this kind of important arrival in such a place to the Federation. And I thought, but that's weird. How can someone forget because he was in a hurry? He knows what's okay. We're assuming here. This is mostly Kian's thought thoughts and a bit of mine. But anyway, um, this is a community thing. I was thinking, well, how can you forget? I mean, the captain obviously know what's going on here in orbit, and I'm kind of getting an idea. You can imagine around Earth what's happening. Different races have different ideas of what's going on. Many, obviously, the races, um, they have their spaceships that are about a kilometer long. I just not cannot imagine how big Earth is. How big, and I mean, I know that it's apparently been measured. You can kind of someone can give me numbers, obviously, but I can't seem to like when someone says to me, "Oh, this ship, the spaceship, it's like 2 kilometers long." I know what 2 kilometer is because I used to sprint 100 meters, so I kind of know what 100 meter is. And 1,000 meters is a kilometer, so I know how long is 2 kilometers. But I just cannot think to try to picture it. Just looking up at the sky and think how 2 kilometers is. It depends obviously how high it is. but it must be just amazing. So I'm trying to think an orbit, looking at Earth, the planet, how big the planet can be, looking from up there, low orbit or high orbit, and thinking of these spaceships, a kilometer long, and it's what, 1,000 spaceships around? Is it about 1,000? Yeah, 900 and something. So there's always 1,000 spaceships in orbit, either in low orbit or high orbit. I just wonder what it's like that. So obviously, the spaceships there are races that are looking after their star seeds, people who are in immersion, step downs, and they are there, to keep an eye on us. They're taking care of us in some way. That makes me feel wonderful. Just thinking about that, I feel warm and fuzzy. Just it's just a nice feeling to know that I'm not alone for so long, until I was what, 46. Before I knew about the disclosure, I felt so alone. I just thought, oh my God, someone take me out of here. Um, so it's great to know that. Anyway, so I'm trying to think, okay, so we've got Earth, we've got the planet here, and then we have all these spaceships around. And then all this conflict, because there is conflict. And a captain to forget because he was in a hurry to inform the traffic tower of his arrival. It's weird. I mean, I can't seem to believe it. I cannot, just can't believe it that he would forget. So we have an idea. Kieran had an idea and thought, what if it's like a strategic? What if they were trying to figure out what would happen, or how fast? That's the thing. They can be ready for action, because the which one that came to the rescue, because the Alfretans were they wanted to escort them back to the Viera and interrogate them, even though they knew they were Taigetans. They knew that they had been there before. I mean, so they were able to confirm who they were, and their Fratans were still intimidating them. So it seems, which one came to the rescue? How do you say it in English? Asterope. I'm so sorry. Asterope. I'll say it in Spanish. Asterope. Okay. So the dreadnought came to the rescue. And that ship was there within seconds. So I'm thinking, like, within seconds? When she said within seconds, I thought, seconds? I mean, how long does it take them to get ready to actually go um, to help? So they were obviously ready. So Kian was thinking, was this done on purpose? And I thought, that makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, what are they? I think now we're getting the sense, I'm getting the sense that Stagetans are now have to be strategic about this, because before Alanim came to power, the previous queen, Tagetans were working basically for the Federation, and they were the defense. They were defense, acting as defense, and so they were the military of the Federation. So once that stopped and Alanin came to power, uh, everything, I think, just took a bad turn. I think the Federation, apparently, from what I can understand, the Federation did not like this, and the Taigetans started to see and to realize, or they knew, this is weird. They knew what is going on here, and they did not agree. So they started. I know that Elenim, we were told that Elenim started to talk to other races and to tell them what was going on here, so they were aware of it. So the Federation here was not happy with it. So I think that from that moment is when they started having problems. Toleka was here on its own. They didn't have other spaceships here. It was just the Tegetans were here in the Toleka ship. Toleka, yeah, Toleka. It's called Toleka. I forgot the name already. Oh my god, my memory. Jesus, isn't your memory getting worse? My memory is like sometimes I'm think, oh my god, I cannot remember what I had for breakfast. Anyway, the Toleka ship. Yeah, Toleka ship. Spaceship. So it was just them here. And then other spaceships started coming. It was Seska that came to maintain the ship, and then there were dreadnoughts. And the thing is that these are battleships. These are not ships that come, to see what's going on. You know, I don't know, just any, what do they call it? I'm thinking of Star Trek. Star Trek is based on the Federation. You do know about Star Trek, right? I'll say it anyway. I'm a Star Trek fan. Gene Roddenberry, he actually had a conversations with Tagetans, step downs. And it's through the Tagetans, these step downs, that told him that through these conversations, they spoke about the Federation. And that's how Gene Roddenberry, the author of Star Trek, he's dead now, was able to write the story, these scripts, because he was a police officer, apparently. So he worked the police in the daytime, and at nighttime, he would write these scripts. But all this information, because I thought, wow, he has really good imagination. I became a fan of Star Trek when I was 8 years old. Yeah, yeah. And I was watching, the only Star Trek at that time was the series that started Star Trek in 1965, I think, 64, 65. So that's the only Star Trek I was watching when I was 8 years old. And we had a black and white TV, a little one. And when I saw it, I was not allowed to watch TV, but I was watching Bewitched. Remember Bewitched? That was my favorite. Anyway, I remember I was just sitting there in front of the TV. How terrible to be in front of the TV. And Star Trek came on, and I was just blown away. I was 8 years old, and I was just thought, it's weird because, of all the things that I was watching, I cannot remember what I was watching, but Star Trek I just, I, I mean, 8 years old. What can you know when you're 8 years old? I mean, it's weird if you think about it. So obviously, I had memories, cellular memories in regards to the Federation. And I just thought Star Trek was just magnificent. That's when I became a fan of Star Trek. And anyway, yeah, that's how Star Trek came to be. Gene Roddenberry, the author, spoke to Tagetans. And that's where he got his stories. Interesting. Anyway, where I was going with this? I was saying something over there. What's going on in orbit? See, this is what happens in the Spanish channel. Start talking, and I go on a tandem. See, that is all important information, of course. You know this. I was saying something. Yes, it was important. Let me see. Let me just have some water. Okay, so the Tagetans are not part of the Federation. Really, they are through another avenue. So they apparently started having trouble. Yes, Dreadnought came. Oh, that's right. I remember now. Yeah, so these spaceships that came to be with the Tagetans, the Toleka spaceship, are not ships that just come to have a look. They are Exploration, yeah, exploration ships. They are dreadnoughts, they're battleships. And when I found out about that, I thought, this is weird. And I thought maybe it's no, no, I just thought it was weird. Weird in the sense that, wait a minute, something is going on and they're not telling us. But I think Gosha and Robert, I think they knew more, but maybe they couldn't say or they decided not to. I'm speculating here. If Gosha is watching, I'm speculating here, but I'm thinking they knew more. But I don't know if they were not able to say anything. But I think we didn't really know what was happening. I mean, we kind of knew there was a little bit of friction, but we didn't know that there was this amount of friction going with the Federation and the Tagetans. So now it seems like um, they've been harassed by the feds. I mean, the Alfreitans, why are they so comfortable in annoying the Tagetans? That's insane. And it shouldn't be. No wonder there are more battleships coming to the rescue or to protect the Tagetans. And I thought it was odd, when they started telling us that there were more dreadnoughts coming and taking care of going, what's it called? It's called. They were. How do you say it? Um, Sculpting. No, that's in Spanish. Sculpt. Forgot the name. Oh my god. I should start speaking in Russian now. Do you know I'm now learning Russian? Anyway, yeah. So this is odd. This is weird. What's happening in orbit? Um, I don't know what's going on. It's just, I mean, I'm thinking they are probably getting ready for something, but it's not. See, this is the thing. I don't. Well, could be, but because the Taigitans, I don't think they're gonna start firing. For example, like it's not like the Taigitans are getting ready and they're gonna start a war or something. I think they're just getting ready because the Federation has plans for this Earth that the Tagetans and other races like the Urmas are against it. So for that plan not to go forward, uh, it's not a matter of the races saying we need to talk to the Federation and tell them to stop what they're doing. We've gone past it. We've gone past communication. It doesn't work. Obviously, that's what they're telling us. Now it's time to take action. They're going to have to take action to go against the Federation and the Federation's plans of what they have for this planet. Now, I haven't been watching the news, but um, apparently the zoo is coming out. I'm going to be, talking in the same way that Mary is because I don't want this channel or this video to be, thrown out. But first it was the bats. Now we have the monkey, and I think we can bet on this. We should. We should make a bet. What do you think is the next animal? And I think I know what it is. I think it's the zebra. No, kidding. I'm not kidding. I think the next one is going to be the zebra. You know why? Okay. You know what's inside the pencils? And if you've done something to your arm, right, you got that inside your body. And you know the color of it, right? Now, if that is activated, apparently they use the 5G, the antennas, for your internet or for your cell phone. Either when that it's activated, I'm thinking that you might, I'm speculating here. Yeah, I can do it. You can as well. I'm just doing it publicly. This is my imagination um, on camera. If that gets activated, that color is going to show up like little veins, and you're going to look like a zebra. So you get an applause. I mean, isn't it obvious? Or maybe people who unfortunately don't make it. How do we know that they, after their body is not working, there are these colored pencils, um, you can see them on their skin and they look like zebras. So they're going to have to make something up of why people are looking like zebras. I'm being serious here because my theory is that this monkey business, it's to have a reason of why people are just dropping dead. They just There are so many deaths, and they have to blame it on something because everyone is blaming the unfortunate papayas, um, and they have to blame it on something. And I think they're gonna blame it on this monkey business. It's unfortunate, very very unfortunate. Someone was asking in the Telegram because some of them got the papayas. Uh, I do know that not all papayas have pencils in them. Some of them were placebos. So just so you know, maybe you got a placebo. I hope so. I hope you got a placebo. So that's my bet. What can I bet? I think it's a zebra next time. So we got bats, monkey, and then it's gonna be the zebra. Just saying. Okay. I'm thinking I should, you know, when I start talking, this is why I don't look at the chat while I'm speaking because I cannot chew gum and walk at the same time. That's how we say in Spanish. So I cannot do two things at the same time. So I have to chew gum first, stop, and then walk. Terrible. I cannot multitask. Um, I couldn't be a secretary. I don't think so. But that's why I don't look at the chat. I would like to look. I'm going to try to do this. But when I look at the chat, I forget what I was thinking. So then I'm not speaking. And I forget my train of thought and, it becomes a problem. But I'll try because it's good conversation. Let me see. Kian says, it is asterope. Okay. Pronunciation is fine. Good. Thank you. Thank you for that. Italika. Okay. Here we go. Okay. This is what he says. Italika class ship. Oh, look, I can see this far. Italika class ship, if I remember correctly, is for exploration. Exactly. And can hold a crew of 1,500 people. I thought it was 1,000. Right. If Project Second Contact, oh God, I forgot about that one, was only for influencing social media, they could have sent another Toleka ship. Good point. But I'm thinking those cadets are being trained on something else. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I think it's that there's a project for the people, for the people, and there's a project for them. Strategies. Am I blowing their cover? Are we blowing their cover? Okay. I wonder if okay, he says they should have sent another Talega class ship. It's true. The fact that they sent two dreadnoughts, exactly. I mean, why would they send two dreadnoughts just to have people work, work, socialize, in social media, social platforms? It's weird. It's weird. Yeah. Means that they felt the need for military protection and Project Second Contact might not have been the main mission. There we go. See, that's a great minds. Great minds. Excuse me, I'm gonna have more water. funny because I'm drinking water and I watch Robert. He's the other person who has the disclosure. They get in disclosure. He only speaks Spanish. I watch his. He does lives every single day. He's amazing. Sometimes twice a day, and he's always telling us because he lives in Finland. He's from Spain. He used to live in Spain, and just before the bug, you know, just before the bug, he and Gosha went to live in Finland. So they spent, since then, they've been living in Finland. Interesting, isn't it? Anyway, every time he drinks water, he says how wonderful the water is in Finland. And he makes a funny sound when he drinks. And he tells everyone just how wonderful the water is. So every time I drink water, I'm thinking of Robert. Okay. John Wiley says, I'm going to use my glasses because I get too close to the screen and I do not like it. He says, yes, I agree. I think they would have known things would escalate with the Federation. I don't think all the new cadets are just cadets. Yeah, I know, right? But I'm just thinking 900? That's a lot of people. Because, she did say, she said, because it's not really a second contact. This is not a second contact. So why name it second contact? And she just said, well, I can't think of another name, so I'm just going to use this for now. So really, maybe in that way, she was trying to tell us, wait a minute, there's something else going on here. Because why wouldn't they just think of a name? I mean, name the darn project. Don't just say, oh, we're just going to use second contact because I can't think of another name. I found that odd. See, some of the things she says, I'm like, but it's like you have to think, you have to let you have to let it settle. I think a lot of this information and just, you know, hear it and then play it again. I usually play the her videos 2 or 3 times. Well, a lot I do it because I do the live, so I get this information in my brain, stuck in my brain. Another thing, have you realized that this is what I think? Could be wrong. No, I think this is true. That the first videos that Mary made, they were really crammed with a lot of information. Each sentence was just chock a block with information, and the because we know it's not her voice, but the voice would go really fast. And suddenly, these videos, the information is not chock a block with information, and the person speaks slower, the voice is slower. Have you realized? They are now speaking like this. So I'm thinking they just saw that people were not able to digest all this information, too much information, and so quickly because the voice was speaking very fast. When in YouTube you can increase the speed of the person talking or slow it down. I'm spitting here, sorry. I'm live, things happen. Let me drink, just a second. And so I think that now it's lower and she doesn't pack it with information. And that's what I'm thinking, that we must be really slow to them because the videos are slower and they don't have the information that they used to have, I think. Also, she asked whether this cryptic information at the end was good. Did we like it? Of course we liked it. And yes, we are able to decipher this information. The first one she made, I don't think we got it very well. I think most of us had trouble understanding what it meant, and we had to like really chew on it. But this one was much easier. And there again, that's how I feel a little bit. I mean, we are slower than the people up there. um, they've never said anything, but we are slower. It drives me nuts. I think, you know what drives me crazy? Because my brain goes, your brain also, everyone's brain, they go really fast and try to put everything into words. It's just so time consuming. I think it's so time consuming. That's why they communicate telepathically. It's so much easier and get all this information going. And I wonder how much they can get done in a day. They must be very efficient. Let me read the chat. Oh my god, I'm gonna poke my eye out. Okay. Kian, I'm sorry, it's a bit late now. I think I've already done it. He says, yes, better not talk about what their main mission could be. See, that's why we need direct contact with the Tagetans. See, that's why they should talk to us, so we don't say things, lie like this. And see, I don't think we can do much from down here. Our speculations, I don't think they can be counterproductive or detrimental for them, or else they would do something about it. They haven't said anything. Well, to me, they've never spoken to me, unfortunately. Um, I've asked twice. I was actually going to, at the beginning, I started when she opened the chat on her videos, her live, they're not live videos, yeah, on her videos, and you're able to, type there. I thought this is a great idea. I'll just ask them. I asked them if I could talk to them, and I thought maybe if I just every week and I'll just go in and ask them again. Be nice about it. Don't be, baby about it. Just be nice and put some humor in it, and then next week and do it again, and next week and do it again. But after the third time, I thought, nah, this is probably going to annoy them. And it might be, might go against me. So I stopped. But yeah, so they know. And I haven't heard. Like crickets there. Crickets. It's kind of sad. Anyway, but at least we get the information through Gosha and Robert. So that's good. But they're not having many conversations. This is the thing. This is the thing that it annoys me. Okay, it's true. It annoys me. I don't know if it annoys you. But I think conversations are needed here. It just cannot be a one-way thing. Nope, nope, nope. This is my okay. This is a great way. I don't know if the Tagetans are listening to this. Maybe they are. Let's say they are. So this is a message to Mary. And I think all you guys will agree. Say so in the chat if you agree. No crickets, please. Say something in the chat. This is what I think. Mary, this one-way thing, you talk to us and leave the video. It's great. That's wonderful. It's been working fantastic. And I understand your reason for doing it. I really do. I understand. And I think it's great because, for example, I don't listen to the news. I have the TV off. In fact, I have my cell phone off for a week now. And it's been great. I can think. I don't go on social media. And I've been able to, it's interesting because ever since I turned my phone off, I've been able to have a single thought just keep going, have literally a train of thought without interruptions. Interruption from WhatsApp, the dings, the notifications from here, the dangs from there, the rings from, your friends, and the blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, you think, what were these conversations and these notifications about? You go in and there is this video about a cat So I thought, I'm going to go stupid with this. So I turned it off, and I can actually now have a train of thought. It's been fantastic. So I understand Mary not wanting to talk to us because apparently we're a bit slow. That's what I say anyway. So it might be counterproductive for her. And then she didn't have time. I understand that. She didn't have time. You didn't have time. But now you do. You're going to get an assistant, Anna, and you're in a new ship. No maintenance needed. And you have a lot more people around you who can help you. And there are 900 cadets, 900 cadets, who I'm sure at least one is able and willing to talk to someone, may have a conversation. Because I think it's time for a conversation. I think the one-way thing, it's it's not going to work anymore. It's working, yeah. I mean, at least we have something. But I think the next step, and it's the very important step, is to have a conversation. We need conversations. I have a lot of questions. After the videos, we have a lot of questions. Um, and I think that, because then I thought, well, mm, is that, uh, I mean, yeah, I don't see the downside. Is there a downside? Can you tell us what the downside could be? Now, you cannot say that this is for Mary, by the way. So back me up, guys. Um, you cannot say that there are people who are going to turn on you. No, I think now you know that there are a lot of people who are not going to turn on you. They were before, but I think now, seriously, I think I can name at least 10, 15 people on social media, actually friends that I have, that they will not turn, that they will actually have great conversations with you. And I think conversations are needed. Goshen and Robert are ready to start have a conversation. But I think you need more people. Okay, that's a bit too much probably, because probably Goshen and Robert is enough. But yeah, I think now conversation, I think it's needed. This is not a request because, I mean, obviously I want to talk to someone. It's obvious. But uh, it's not so much just a request for curiosity. Curiosity. Oh my God, I forgot. Curiosity. Curious. I've been learning Russian and French. Um, it's not just curiosity. Uh, I think that it helps everybody to be up to speed. It helps with their, I think, state of mind, with their emotional being, um, to learn more about this and to have their questions answered. Um, I'm not, this is a request. I am not being, it's not something that I am, how can I say this? Um, I'm not demanding here. Not demand, obviously. It's insane. Anyone, if I did, you can just turn me off. uh, but I think so. I think we do need conversations. We do need them. But the thing is that, I was thinking about this since yesterday, the day before, but yesterday, that we need these conversations. And I just cannot put my finger on it. I think it's time. I think it's time for something else. And one of them, it's the conversations. Yeah. So I hope that maybe you ponder this. Anyway, you might have a plan in place, something. uh, but I think it's needed. Exactly why? Exactly why? I don't know, but I have a feeling. I think it's needed. If that is of any use to you. Um, Let me see the chat. Kian, see, he says, I agree. We need two-way contact. No more silence. Yeah, we do. There's something about it. We need it. Mm. Uh, okay, Jason says, starseeds. So you want the enemy to know exactly who the starseeds are? They know already. Which would happen with two-way direct contact in a war zone. Earth is a war zone. Kian says the Cabal knows exactly who we are, and I agree with him. That's what I was going to say. They already know who we are. They have many ways of um, of learning who we are. There is a point. You have a point. It's true, Jason. I agree with you as well. They are. There is a risk, but I think they know already. Uh, I mean, well, the thing is that everyone is a star seed. Let's forget about the 80% because they don't exist, unfortunately. But the 20%, you either come through immersion or through source. Either way, you're all star seeds. We are all star seeds. And whether we come here for a reason or just to experience it, they already know who's who. Now, if someone wants to be, um, if someone wants to not be known, they just don't need to comment or chat. Uh, they would have to take care of that themselves. But I think that they already know who we are. Um, and I see. This is I have. I don't remember. I was thinking about this as well, Jason. It's I understand. I think I understand because at the beginning I was thinking before I went online, on YouTube. In fact, before I went and even said a word in the Telegram groups, before I went online on YouTube, I didn't even want to say hello to anybody at all. In fact, I didn't even want to go into any of these groups because I didn't want anyone to know who I was and who I am and who am I. I don't know, but I'm doing something. I communicate. That's right. Uh, and I didn't want it because I felt like I had to take care of myself in some way. I couldn't put my finger on it. And then one day everything's changed for me, and I decided to um, to be a voice. Um, and it for me it worked really quickly. It happened very fast, and but there's one thing that I there's one thing that I'm thinking. How afraid do we have to be? How afraid? Why would we not have some type of protection? Why why do we believe? So this is very important on your belief of why would you think they would do something to you? Why not feel like they're not going to touch me. Look at what's his name? Um, he's very well known, and he's still able to travel. He has a sometimes has trouble having uh, having a he does these conferences, not conferences. He speaks out on the federation and all everything that's going on, and they ruined his his projects. And what does he do? What's his name? Um, I cannot, he's very well known. And anyway, I'm thinking him. I'm not going to be a one way. One thing is to be afraid. Another one is to be, take care of yourself. It's really important. It's really important to take care of yourself. And if you feel, I thought, if I feel like I have to be quiet and just not be out there and stay who I am, I'm going to do that. That's what I did for a long time, and I did that, and I didn't know why I was doing it, but I did it for a long time, and I just knew I had to be quiet, and in fact, I did that. I would burn everything I wrote, everything I did, all the projects I had in my head. I wrote them down. Every single project that came into my head, I was able to download, even at a national level, that it could be implemented. Many things. I would write them down, and they were fantastic. I would do a lot of research, and then I would burn them. And basically, um, I was unknown, and I was antisocial, and nobody knew me. And I didn't follow uh, any UFO community, or I wasn't in that and that I never, in fact, I never thought extraterrestrials existed. I thought it was just humans, us. I believed everything that we were told. So I was, human, and but I knew inside me that I had to be quiet, and I couldn't be, public like this at all. Um, so I would guard myself a lot, and I did that for 45 years. Weird. Then one day things changed completely, and I knew I had to be the opposite. It's weird. And that's when I started the YouTube channel and so on. I thought, I'm now the communication. So there are people who are gonna put themselves forward and say, um, this is what's happening. They're gonna have conversation with extraterrestrials, and they're gonna give the information like Gosha and Robert. They know what they're doing, and they made the decision to do it. But if someone feels that they have to be quiet and silence, go for it. Do it. It's really important. It's really important. But otherwise, I think that um, if things change for you, then you can be public, like I am right now. I knew that. Um, it's funny because I knew that I was starting a new part of my life, which is the last part. We don't live very long. The last part of my life here on earth, and I knew it was going to change completely. It was not going to be the same as it was before, and in this regard, it was going to be very public, and the consequences of that. And I concentrate on the good consequences, and I enjoy it, and I'm not afraid. And I do know we are at war, uh, but I think a lot of it as well. Your experience, a lot of it is your frequency, which I take care of. Sometimes for me, it gets out of hand, and I'm like flat on the floor, not having a great day. Um, but I think taking care of your frequency is what protects you the most. At least that's my experience. But I think I understand where you're coming from, Jason. Uh, See, this is why I like conversations. And I don't know, I think I put this in my profile. I like conversations, especially great ones like this. Everyone is very polite. They give their opinions, and it's great if you're not if you don't agree with something, if you want to share a different point of view in regards to the subject, obviously, um, because they all, I don't think there's one truth. I don't think there is one way to do things. I don't think there is a um, specific way of what's right or what's wrong. There are many different ways, and this I really like it. James, hello, how are you? Welcome. John S, hello, hi. You're new here. Welcome, hi. Jason, he says the cabal is linked to Orion. Yeah. That sees as food and market products. Yes, we are. As the Uma told us, yeah. They could fix it in a few hours, but that would seem as an invasion, yes. And the other powers would act, yeah. True. Yeah, we are food. Isn't it amazing? That's why you have to take care of your frequency. Well, we are food in a energetic sort of way and in a physical way, I think. A lot of people go missing. Yum yum for some. I have black humor, I'm sorry. I like how Mary gave support to her fleet right away to respond to this Federation police. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what we were talking about. Um, how see, I went on a tandem there for about an hour. Uh, how was it? Oh no, I think we already spoke about this. How were they able to have a response so quickly? You know, it was seconds that Esterope went to the rescue. So I think it was strategic. Yeah. Ike. Yes, Ike. Thank you. Ike. He's very well known. And I was reading, I think, what was it? An article I think he wrote or something that I think it was a book. And he was saying that sometimes he has a lot of problems leasing some places so he can have his talks. So he leases a place and then 3 days later, and he travels, you know, to a country, leases a specific place. And a day before, uh, the people who own this or this place or this community, whatever, says nope, we can't we can't lease it to you. And he's like, I've traveled all the way from here to there. So he has problems like that. So they do give him problem. They do follow him around, but he's able to still able to get his his information out there. I think he's incredibly. I think he's really brave in that regard. He is. That's the thing. He has another way of communicating, uh, and he does have, for example, I haven't listened to him so much, only a little bit, but he does talk a lot about the current politicians and the people around us, you know, the more matrix people. I don't talk about matrix people, you know, I don't talk about the government. I don't talk about these three-letter agencies or anything like that because for me that's theater. I'm not going to talk about the actors. I'm going to talk about the directors, you know, the people that that move the strings. um, long ago I decided not to concentrate on the theater, on the actors, because I have I had been concentrating on those, and it drives me nuts, insane, because it just drives me crazy. The ridiculous things they say, it makes absolutely no sense. And then they have the audacity to talk to the camera and say, "This is scientifically proven, and our scientists and our academics have come to the conclusion that, oh, for goodness sake," and they look at you in the eye and they say the most ridiculous things. I can't handle it. Seriously, I cannot handle it. Um, no, I can't. So, but he talks about them. It's great because, see, for the things that, for example, in my videos, the star seeds that wake up just to this, they will have no idea what to think of my videos. They'll think that I'm just talking about science fiction. It's too much. So I always say, I am not here to wake up star seeds. I am not here to um, to hold a hand. I guess we all need a holding hand when we start on something, to guide you and say and explain to you, this world apparently works like this, and blah blah blah, and the powers of these, and the hierarchy, etc., etc. I can't deal with it. I mean, 20, 30 years studying this, I just can't do it anymore. So I say to people all the time, I am not here to wake up star seeds. There are other channels that make a fabulous video explaining this. Um, and other people, other star seeds like that work. For me, the work for me is to talk to other star seeds that are already familiar with this. They know what's going on. They know who they are. They don't question it. But they do have their different point of views. And my idea here is to have a conversation, to build a community where we can talk about our subjects because we know what's going on. Well, we know through that they get a disclosure, because we're never really going to know what's happening, and everyone is going to have a point of view. But for me, is to have a point of view and a conversation in regards to this matter, at the level of federation, at the level of the people that are moving the strings, and to have us uh, have this link between star seeds who are awake, who's because when we concentrate our perspective, and we concentrate on how can I say this? When we engage and focus on something, there is a node that starts to build, and it changes to, and it becomes a frequency, and that frequency expands, and it helps the raising of the frequency on this planet. So that's my idea here. One is to focus the frequency, and keep it high and maintain it, because, like I was saying, we are like the equivalent of pyramids. That's one of the reasons the pyramids were constructed before. There were pyramids around the world, and um, they they were linked to each other to raise the frequency of this earth. They were used for other things as well, but that was one of their main reasons. So they were dismantled, destroyed, um, and they're of no use anymore, unfortunately. Uh, they've been desactivated as well. So we've become, in some ways, the pyramids. So as long as the great thing is that if we start having this communication, whether we are chatting on Telegram, where we are looking at the videos, for example, my video, Gosha's video, Mary's video, we engage and focus our energy. So especially when we start talking to each other, we start making these links that the pyramids had before, and we start um, helping raise the vibration and change the frequency of this. So that's one of the reasons for me to do these lives and these conversations. I think it's part of what we came here to do, and I think I gave myself that job, and I like it. I really really enjoy it. And the other is to have a conversation, because everyone, you listen to these videos and you have questions and you ponder them, and then you're not sure, and you want, sometimes you just want someone else to talk about it, and see what that person comes up with. And it is needed. I think it's needed for our well-being. It's needed for our emotional support, and basically just to have um, a healthy outlook on life. I think, um, because humans and people are social beings. I'm not talking about extrovert versus introvert. No, it has nothing to do with that. But um, being isolated the way we are because of our nature, it can be detrimental. And so we need that social contact, whether it's through Telegram or side by side with someone. And I think it's really, really important. I think it's important. Okay. Yeah, the Mary is it's quite strong. We were not sure how she was going to work out. That's so true. Yeah, I was still a bit worried because she's young, and we have to remember that Mary is still young, a young person. Even though she's together and she's out there and she does have a lot of knowledge, she remembers her past lives, but she's still a young person. So that has to be taken, I think it has to be taken into consideration. She's still learning. What I'm not sure about, and I'll say it again, is the way she described the other races. Useful idiots, and some other words that she used. I did not agree with it. I agree that many races don't know what's going on in the Federation, and they are part of the Federation. And when you are a part of something, you need to be aware of what's going on, so you know what you are supporting. You cannot just support blindly and go with something. You have to be responsible and know what you're getting into and what you're doing. And I think that many races don't know what's happening. Uh, so that's what Mary was saying. And I think she used words that were inappropriate. I don't think they were appropriate words. Um, she could have used other words. It doesn't mean that this is not a bad criticism. This is not a criticism to put her down at all. But in my opinion, and I think it's important to say this. I think it's important to voice this, that there is, at least down here, as a human, I can only speak as a human. Uh, there are words that you can say, especially when you are a queen, when you are representing a race. There are words that you just cannot use. There are descriptions and things you can just not say to others, like useful idiots. Um, it's funny, but I don't think it's appropriate. So I put that as Mary's learning curve. I think she's still learning in that regard. Um, but even though I agree with a lot of what she's doing and I support her, there are things that I do not, and that's one of them. But she's learning, and what that's when I say that she's still young. She's 16. And I think those issues, I think it's something that needs to be addressed. And I hope she takes this, if she watches this, into consideration that maybe that wasn't very the correct words, and the way to express maybe her frustration. Maybe she was incredibly frustrated and she wanted to be open with us in that regard. But I think maybe you would have said that to your friends in confidence, you know, in a group of 5 friends. But in this regard, the videos for the humans to, listen, and for all the other races that are listening. I don't know how I would have felt if I had been another race and I heard the queen of that race calling me a stupid idiot, a useful idiot. I think I would have felt annoyed. And I don't think that's a good idea, especially if you want the races to listen to you and see the cause that you're supporting, and you're showing them what's going on, uh, and insulting them this way. I don't think it was a good idea. No, I don't think so. So that's I'm voicing that as something that I do not agree with. So yeah, so I mean I feel tagetan. This hasn't been confirmed to me. I feel tagetan, and I feel I am in immersion. So because the first time I heard tagetans, the first time that I heard the disclosure, I was just amazed. I mean, I've heard of other races and disclosures and things, but I've never felt like this. And I knew I was from that place. And then they described what it was, the houses there and everything. And I thought, oh my God, that's exactly how I see it in my head. And I thought that was just fantasy of mine. And I thought, no, this is me. And when they said immersion, they started describing the immersion. I thought, oh my God, I just knew. I knew I'm in immersion. I just know it. So I do feel Tagetan. I feel part of the Tagetans. So I support Mary as our queen. However, there are things that I have to be honest, that I do not agree. I do have an opinion. And I also want to be open. I don't want to be someone who just follows blindly someone and agrees with everything. And I want to be honest with it, and I do want to voice it. I think it's important. I think it's important to know where you stand, and to not follow anyone at all blindly. Um, and I don't follow people blindly. So that's my only criticism, I guess could be said, or just an opinion, voice my. It's not, it's not a okay. It's not a criticism. It's not an opinion. No, those are the wrong words. Uh, it worries me. That worried me. Yeah, it worried me because I think what's happening at this moment in orbit, it's it's difficult, it's critical, and I think it's vulnerable. I think they are at the border of war in some way. Someone said to me in the comments, he said, "It's not war, it's uh, it's aggressive negotiations." We think we're going to war. No, it's just aggressive negotiations, and I agree with him. Him, her, I think it's a him. I agree with that. However, that turns to war, and the friction, it is happening, because you can see it here. You can see it on this earth, even though I don't watch the news. You can feel it, and you just talking to people. What's going on. Things are heating up. The Federation is doing something weird here. They are speeding up these agendas, the ridiculous idea with these zoo animals. For the love of God, I hope I'm not a religious person. That just came out wrong. For goodness sake, a lot of people are just not believing it. This ridiculous ideas about these animals. Tomorrow is going to be the zebra. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Um, so things are heating up. Things are difficult. And it worried me. It really did. It worried me, the words that she used to describe other races who will come to our rescue, who are there to take care of this earth and to fight the regressive federation that currently has a hold on this planet, managing it in a way that we do not approve. So, as a representative of Taygeta, of myself in some way, it worried me. So that's why I decided to say this and to make my worry known and heard. I don't agree with it. Um, I don't know how things work up there, but I don't think they're so different to how we would behave in that regard down here. Yeah. So yeah. Mm. Anyway, okay. Let me put my glasses on. Mm. I have this light. I have to remember not to look at this light. I have a light right here because I need light for the videos, or else I look thick and I cannot look at it because it's really strong. Oh, oh, there's something about the internet here. Kian is saying, oh no, wait a minute. Okay, so John, oh great, you guys are having a good conversation. I like it. Let me read it. So John Wiley says, do you think the TPs, who said TPs? Oh my God, Taigetans? Taigetan people have a plan if the Galactic Federation cut their internet access, which looks like the next step they will take? I know. There must be other races that have contact with their starseeds without the internet. Okay, yeah. I think at any time the Federation is going to cut the internet. And it surprises me a lot that they haven't already. And if they haven't already, it's because they are afraid in some way, not afraid of something, but I think that the Taigetans and the other races have something that can go against the Federation's plan on regards to this planet. So if they do that, if they cut the internet, they're going to have such a huge problem with other races in the orbit that I don't think they will. So this is the thing. This is what it kind of worries me in some way, but at the same time, it makes me happy that things are things are getting done. You know, there's action going on. Things are working. Um, they're obviously not going to tell us, you know, their strategies and what they're doing. Uh, but I think that Federation is not going to do it because the backlash from this, it's too much. It's going to be too much for them. Too much. And I think the Ulma, especially the Ulmers, they already showed what they can do, what they will do, and they have no problems doing when they destroyed these warehouses that had the other papayas for a second round, of this ridiculous idea. Um, and they destroyed it. Simple as that. I was so happy with that. So there are things going on. There are um, strategies in place that will not make it possible for the federation to take that option of uh, taking down the internet. And as Kian said, the Tibetans can always point their neutrino beam directly to their safe house. I know. I knew, I knew they had safe houses. Of any other safe house with internet access, the routing through the Galactic Federation is only by agreement. Exactly. So even if they do, which I don't think they will, they can still have access to the internet. Yeah. James says, John, they are very resourceful. All, I am sure. They already have solutions on the table. Exactly. Um, okay. This is really good conversations, guys. You guys do great. Keep the conversation going. Fantastic. Beta, hi, Beta Way. Beta Way, oh, look at that. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I know it's a lot of things going on. It's kind of amazing. It never stops. Okay, so there is some conversation. Sorry, I forget that people are watching me. I'm just I'm looking at the conversations in the chat. It's going great. So if you're watching afterwards, or if you're watching now, you can listen to me and read the chat as well. It's kind of it's great information. So yeah, if you're watching me afterwards, I look at the chat because the chat always have a lot of more information and communications and opinions and points of views. Um, and it's kind of great. It's kind of amazing. But if I read all of it, I would, oh my God, it's been an hour and a half. Okay. So let me see. I made some notes here. Let's see. Okay. I made some notes. Um, uh, I think that's it. All right. So, yes, I would like to talk. See, I'm going to use this platform to say I would like to talk to a Tagetan woman and a Tagetan man, especially if you are reading the chat. Thank you guys there. You're actually talking about the different perspectives from male and female, from the Taygetans. You know, females, we are more into the conversation, the communications, and the men are always on the action. You know, they get things done, and obviously, two are always needed. And because of that, I think that for me, it would be incredibly interesting to talk to a male and a female because they both have different point of views and different ways of communicating their perspective and what's happening out there. And I think seeing it through both genders gives us a much better perspective and idea of what's happening. So if there is as an option to communicate with the Tibetans up there, I would love to have a communication with both genders. And I'm sure there are two people in those 900 cadets who wouldn't mind talking to me. I have to put myself out there because I do. I want to have these conversations. I mean, I'm not going to be there. To be honest, I don't think I will have the time to be, talking to them. And basically, I'm not going to be harassing them because I think maybe they'll think that I'm going to be asking a gazillion questions, and they're going to be just, exhausted from this crazy woman is just asking and asking and counter asking these questions. And no, it's not going to be like that at all. Because what I do is, I first of all, I listen to the information, the videos, and then I ponder them. I don't just go and start talking, asking questions without pondering and thinking about it. So after I think about it, I have questions, and then I answer those questions, and then I feel like if I can get my questions answered by going and listening to a previous video, I'll go and listen to a previous video, and then so I have a way of getting all this information in my head and understanding it on my own, which I like. And then I have questions, and those are the questions that I would like to put forward to these two people that I'm sure would love to talk to me. Um, and I think it would be fantastic. Yeah. Uh, However, yeah, I think so. I think it would be great. Anyway, okay, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for this wonderful conversation. I appreciate it so much from the chats. You guys are great. Um, Usually, in after my lives, I go through the chat again, and I go through all the comments and I read them, and that's when I get, because you guys have, obviously everyone has great information, great insights. So I do learn from you, and then of course I learn from you, and then I have more questions. And sometimes the questions that I have get answered by you in the chat and in the comments. So I always appreciate your point of views. I always appreciate um, your agreements, your disagreements, and yeah. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for expressing yourself so well, so respectfully. I do really appreciate it. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And stop saying appreciate it. Okay, so I'll see you next time. I'll say goodbye. Bye bye. Thank you.